All right, welcome to the book club. I'm Dylan here with the guy you'll always find at the center of the skiz ring, Keith. What's up, cousin?
And I'm here with D-Man, the legend himself. How are we doing?
I'm kind of surprised you didn't try to slip skiz in there. Such a good word. Oh, she's in the skiz ring. I was like, ooh, Sasha Grey? What's going on here? Here at the Buddy Book Club, we're breaking down some bestsellers, and this week we'll be discussing Marie Lu's 2011 YA dystopian novel, Legend. If you'd like to recommend a book for us to read or reach out to us past episodes, you can visit our website, buddybookclub.com, slide into our DMs on X, Instagram, Buddy Book Club Podcast, you listeners, iTunes, Spotify. Please download, subscribe, give us a 5-star review. We know there's people listening out there, so just give us a review. What's going on? Please and thanks. Appreciate you. Keith, 4.15 on Goodreads. This was, or I think I was still working on My Friends, the Bachman novel. I was still working on it, and you suggested this as a change of pacer, which I always appreciate, a good change of pace, taking us back to our YA roots. And honestly, who doesn't love dystopian novels? I feel like this book came out, and I don't remember when the other ones did, but it was during that kind of boon of dystopian novels with Hunger Games, Maze Runner, Divergent, and this was in there, but I never heard about it. I think I only heard about the other ones besides Hunger Games, which I read all of. Haven't read any Maze Runner or Divergent. The only reason I've heard of those is because they then made film adaptations to them. So I guess Legend just never made to film, but it seems to be pretty popular. A lot of reviews, right?
Yeah, so it is one of those that slipped through the cracks, but I was looking at best or most similar to Red Rising books, and this was on one of the lists.
Get the fuck out of here. Did you do a book report for this one?
Did.
Let's go. Stand up in front of the class.
Legend is a dystopian young adult novel by Marie Lu that puts the underage in young adult. This book... What? This book serves up everything we've come to expect and appreciate from YA genre. Enemies to lover trope, love triangles, super good-looking, morally perfect characters fighting against a corrupt system. We follow 15-year-old rebel June and 15-year-old rebel Day, but there's a catch, D-Man. June is a super rich super soldier, and Day is a poor rebel. They're pretty much polar opposites.
Wow.
So you'll never guess it, but their paths somehow cross, and somehow they're able to get along. It's like Romeo and Juliet, but less suicide, more government-sponsored plagues, and about the same amount of murders by execution. You want an easy read with some light necking and an entry-level dystopian novel? Legend is your book.
Well done. B. I give it a solid B.
That's my highest grade I usually get. So that's fine.
That was nice. All right, well, with that, thank you for providing a book report. Let's get into some stock up, stock down. Keith, what do you have for stock up for Legend?
Stock up, being able to compartmentalize.
Oh.
Yeah, this is important. I struggle with this. You know, being able to kind of set your emotions aside. If you get angry with one thing, being able to like take it, put it over in the corner and not worry about it. Well, the perfect example of someone that is like that can do that, and is probably the best character in the book, is Thomas. This dude, he really made the whole book. I mean, so he's... Mateus is his best friend, is basically his older brother, essentially. Basically the person that brought him out from nothing and built him up and gave him a chance, essentially. Mm-hmm. He just straight up murders him. Just covers it up. You don't see one tear. You don't see 1 ounce of remorse. Not one even emotion about it, which I appreciate. I mean, you got to appreciate. Next thing we know, he's executing some innocent woman in front of her house. Doesn't even bring it up again. It doesn't even cross his mind again. I mean, talk about compartmentalizing. This is like Bill Belichick would love this guy. He could play for his team any day. No emotion at all. The one thing that was interesting, though, and I want to ask you, is he more of a sociopath because of that he gets so upset that Day kisses June? Or is he less of one? Because he is showing emotion. Because it is very, very weird that he's 1 second executing June's brother, his best friend, and the next second he's like, "What the hell? You kissed her? That's it." Is he more or less of a sociopath because of those things? What would you say?
I don't know what a sociopath is. I mean, I could say it, but I don't know it. I'd be like, "Oh, that person's a sociopath."
Yeah, I thought you know what it was. I thought sociopath is you have to fake emotion because you don't understand it, essentially. I think a psychopath is someone that likes other people hurting. I don't know.
No, that's a masochist, right?
God damn it.
I got you. A sociopath is a person with an antisocial personality disorder, a mental health condition characterized by persistent disregard for social norms, laws, and the feelings of others. Lack of empathy, remorse, manipulative and charming behavior, impulse, aggression, irresponsibly shallow.
So maybe he's more of a psychopath then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sociopath that like knowingly is manipulating. I think he just doesn't have emotions.
Yeah, that's psychopath is profound lack of empathy and remorse.
Yeah, so they're similar.
They're all they really mean the same thing.
Is he just a huge prude? That was my other question. He's like, you kissed her? He's like 27 years old. Yeah. He's like, I'm like, what? Who cares?
Yeah, it's like you primed the pump, bro. Relax.
Yeah, I was like, wait, you're really worried about this? I'll get into that later, but yeah, that was my stock up, being able to compartmentalize. Thomas, great character.
I don't know. We'll talk more about the book, obviously, as this thing goes on, but what's going on here? My first stock up is moving on. Just, the ability to move on from things.
Oh, that's similar, yeah.
Yeah, because in the words of the Cranberries, do you have to let it linger? And then Thomas is, I'm just a fool for you. But yeah, so back to moving on. No one really seems to dwell on their loved ones being murdered. At the beginning, Mateus is murdered, and June's boss, whoever that woman is or whatever the case is, she says, your brother's dead. She tells him, your brother's dead. And June's like, oh, well, all right, cool. What else is going on? Like, did you find this day guy? Like, what?
She got promoted, sir. Yeah. She's pretty excited about it.
Exactly. Then she's like excited about her promotion, and there was no...
She's going through the diaries.
Yeah, I guess she's just going immediately to, like, deny. She's in denial, so she's like, maybe that's the case. But she doesn't go to through the diaries until later. Pretty much right when her brother dies, there's not a lot of, I need to go walk in the rain and not care that I'm getting soaked and shivering to the bone. The only person left in her life, her parents are already dead. I'm sure when they died, she was like, all right, let's go get popcorn and go see a movie. But when her brother dies, the only person she has left as family, she just moves on and continues to toe the company line, which is a little wild to me. But then I always said, this is one of those crazy societies. Like, maybe she's just so indoctrinated that death, not that big of a deal. But then Day, he sees his mom get shot in the head to death right in front of him. And not more than 30 seconds later, he's like, God, June is fucking hot. I want to kiss those lips so bad. Legitimately gets arrested right then and is just all about kissing June.
Compartmentalized kid. What's
your brothers were just taken, and your mom was shot to death, and he's already moved on to what June's up to and trying to get in them jeans. Like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, I guess they all just move on really quickly. People are just dying left and right. They just move on really quickly.
To be fair, the one complaint I always have with YA books is like they're always in their feelings. So I kind of enjoyed it not being like in your. They could have just spent they could have made this book 2 hours longer of him just being and her being like, oh my goodness, this is the worst. Why does it happen to me? Only like every other YA book. So they skipped that whole part.
I get that.
I liked it.
You don't like the whole Katniss crying about everything all the time, and I do understand that. But a minute of, wow, my mom was, the rock in our family, and I feel terrible because I've been gone for all these years pretending I'm dead, and then I go back and I see her for the first time, and now she's dead. Just half a page. That's all we need, baby.
Show don't tell, D-man. I have no issues with it.
What else do you have for stock up?
Anakin and Padme's relationship stock up. This is one of those books where you kind of need to throw out the ages at the window. Otherwise, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah. You got the smartest people in the world. Both of them are 15 years old. We got the best terrorist in the world. He's a 15-year-old. He's able to escape from full-grown adults. I mean, 15. Maybe he just like hit his puberty when he was like 10 or something, and he's just been bulking up, and he's like an adult size. When I was 15, I maybe had just hit puberty. I was fucking 5'5", 100 pounds, maybe. I'm just imagining a 15-year-old running around and like, wait, what? This guy? Like, he's the biggest terrorist,
Yeah, it's like when you see like Myles Garrett, the defensive lineman for the Browns.
He's that?
You see him as a 15-year-old in high school, and the rest of the offensive linemen are 3 feet and 100 pounds shorter than him.
Okay, so that's what we're going with. That's all I needed to know. They should have been like, this Day dude wasn't just born a day ago. He's fucking massive. He's a big dude. So that would make more sense. But then we get into the Anakin Padme stuff, where maybe 2011 was a different time, but...
Okay, so hold on for a second. You're talking Anakin and Padme because Padme was significantly older than Anakin. That's what we're going for.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Just some people might not be big Star Wars people, so they might not know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, yeah, the first episode, Anakin's like 10 years old. He's super talented, but Padme is like 16 and 17. And then she grooms him and they get married. Yeah, anyways... We got June, who Thomas is like, she's like into Thomas and whatever. And then Thomas is like, I don't know, basically gets super, super jealous and is like, finally shows his emotions. Mm-hmm. We learned out that Thomas is like 27.
Did they say that?
I think her brother's 27 or 28 and he's like a couple years younger than him.
Okay.
So he's like a 26, maybe 25-year-old guy that's going after a 15. I mean, it's just like, What the hell's going on? And then later in the book, we meet who's going to probably in the next books be the like love interest. I think it was like Ander or something. Andon.
Who?
At like the ball. When he like they're setting up the next book, but it was when she goes to a ball and the son of like the emperor or whatever is there.
Got it.
Remember that? Yeah. They introduce and they're like, oh my god, he's so handsome. And I was like, all right, well, this is at least a normal relationship because she went to the ball with him.
With Thomas.
Imagine a 15-year-old going to being like, this is my date. She's 15, I'm 25. It's like, okay. But she goes to the ball with him, and then they introduce it, and he's like 5 or 6 years older than her too. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is more of a realistic love thing. Like, wait, what? So the Anakin Padme relationship doesn't look all that off, and these 15-year-olds, I guess, are just different in this world.
Let me grab the copy of the book here. It says Marie Lou, but that's just stuck on with glue. There's something underneath it. Legend, written by Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, that's why.
All right, we're back.
Yeah.
Allegedly. That's all right. Allegedly. When Marie listens to this, we don't want her to get upset with it.
Yeah, there's also when Day goes to the bar... What's the girl's name who she sees in the fight, like Kesha or something?
Kade or something? Kade?
Kade, whatever.
Katie? Maybe that's Katie.
No. Either way, he originally meets her at a bar and she's tending bar. And Day's chatting with her, but also flirting and whatnot. And he pretty much says, if I didn't have so much work to do, then I'd be trying to kiss this girl. And... I don't know, maybe it's different in this world, but I was like, all right, this woman works at a bar, so she's like an adult, and he's 15, so is there another, like, was she older, or is there a 15-year-old working at the bar?
Good question. I think this was also around the time, do you remember the Chris Brown song?
Which one?
There's a great song that was about Chris Brown I used to listen to in college. I remember it.
There's a lot of good Chris Brown songs. I mean, he's a terrible
He's
person,
like, she can't believe I'm 16. Like, there's a song about that. How he's like, how good of a dancer he is, and like making moves on girls. She's like 24, and he can't believe I'm 16. Maybe he's Chris Brown in this. Like, he's like that smooth, that suave, and he doesn't seem like a 15-year-old.
Well, he definitely is. That's why I'm not sure Day's not your typical
15-year-old terrorist.
He's not your typical lead in a book like this who has a lot of internal issues. You know, usually these people tend to have something, going on. He's like Aladdin, where he's just driving around in the streets, escaping the law, and
/ Wolverine, because they basically did the testing on him.
And / like James Bond, because he also is so sure of himself. He's like the cock of the walk. He's going around being like, oh, it's too bad I got work to do. Otherwise, all these broads would be knocking down. It's like, what? Who is this guy? Is this a real person? So he's hot and he knows he's hot.
No emotion, good looking, best athlete, best terrorist. That's what we all want to be, honestly. This is who we're striving to be.
Yeah, men want to be him and women want to be with him.
Yeah.
My next stock up was Quentin Tarantino People might be familiar with Quentin Tarantino, the director. He's a big dialogue guy. It's kind of the one of the reasons he became so famous, or his movies became so big, was the dialogue was just next level. He was having conversations, or his characters were having conversations that just didn't exist in movies before.
You know what they call a quarter pounder and cheese in France?
Royale with cheese. What do they call a Big Mac? Le Big Mac. But yeah, it's like, this stuff didn't exist before. But now we've seen these movies hundreds of times, and it doesn't really hit. And sometimes you need books like this with some of the worst dialogue between its characters that I've ever seen. Sounds like it was written by a freaking 7-year-old. It took me back to my in 6th grade writing the sequel to Hatchet days. It's something that I would have written back then. But the dialogue between these characters, it's so terrible that it makes me appreciate how good dialogue is. And sometimes you need the rain to appreciate the sun, kind of thing.
Well, I want to counter that with my first love. I was gonna bring up is I wrote, "This is my reading level and emotional level." So, what does that tell you?
Yeah, I mean,
so anyway,
it's fine. We're almost 40-year-old men, and we're reading a book that's clearly intended for a younger audience. Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
It's entry level dystopia, which I like. If you read this when you were, I guess we reread Giver though, and I really thought Giver held up.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's
that was entry level dystopia though.
I mean, I was reading my daughter Giraffes Can Dance the other day, which is
Giraffe's a big word for a young person to know.
She's one, and she likes that book, and I like that book, and it was like whatever the cricket says to the giraffe in that is the dialogue between the giraffe and the cricket is better than whatever's happening between Day and June. So, Quentin Tarantino stock up. You got any other stock ups?
Last one, not about the dog in the fight, but it's about the fight in the dog. Stock up. Okay.
Love a good idiom.
Steve fighting, I think is that what he called? Schism fighting, what was it?
Schism, yep. Schism, Skiz.
Tool,
Skiz fight.
Schism?
Skiz.
Great song.
Skiz fighting.
Yeah, I love the street fighting element of this, and the overall just fighting. Although I will say the whole you fight until you lose thing seems a little
I didn't
bit
get the rules
much. They're like, you can't get away from this fight, you won, and I know you're stabbed and bleeding to death, even though stabbing's not allowed, and you might die in the next fight, but nonetheless, you have to stay. It's like, what?
Yeah, and then what were they? They were going to chase her down and beat her to death?
Yeah, because she's supposed to stay in the pit and keep fighting.
It's like Cassius in the last one, was it Dark Age or Lightbringer? I don't know which one it was. When he just stays in there because he's got to continue to fight people. But that was intended to kill him. So I'm wondering how this Skiz fighting works, because people seem to keep coming back. So are people just dying every night? Like whoever the best is just dies?
Yeah, and there seemed to be if it's your first time at Fight Club, you have to fight type vibe where Tess just gets pulled into the ring. Why is she fighting? The betting part really got to me because they didn't really tell any odds, first off. And then Day is supposed to be this fucking great bettor, and he's risking all of their money on a sure thing. So I don't know what the odds are. And then also that he's a terrible bettor. Like, what are we doing here? So that was my big issue with Day. Yeah, I guess Day is me. It's just super, super attractive, 15 years old, but terrible at betting. That's exactly like me. So
for someone who is, the smartest, or maybe, I think a lot of the rating stuff that they were doing is based on being observant.
The SATs?
Whatever they were doing, whatever the test was in this.
Yeah.
A lot of it is based on being observant, I feel like. Kind of like a Batman type vibe going on. So how is he not able to Batman that this person walking into the ring was better than Kaide or whatever her name was? It was pretty clear based on her movements, her left hand moved like this, whatever the case is, that he'd be able to figure that out. Yeah, so shame on him for that. Absolutely.
I also just wouldn't bet the unknown. If you know something, that's where you have the insider trading. That's when you put all the money in. You don't put all the money down and you're like, well, it just seems like I could be right about it.
It's like, I'm just going to hit Kaide again, even though that isn't that like a fallacy or something? You're just doubling down. Eventually you're going to lose.
No, that works.
And I think the rules are that if you win, you just point to someone in the crowd and then you fight them in a skiz fight. And you like just skiz on each other.
Yeah, but I feel like that leads to a lot of insider trading. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm fighting this person, and they just take a dive. I don't know. Seems like I don't care for it.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan. My last stock up is incorrect spelling. Stock up. Before computers, and yes, I mean, I wasn't around technically before computers, but before they were ubiquitous or whatever the case was, like everyone had one. It used to be the bane of my existence. I know words for sure, but I could never get the big ones spelled right, and it used to cost me in school. And now I can just fat finger a keyboard, and it fixes it for itself for me. Mm-hmm. But if it wasn't for June's keen eye about her brother's misspellings through her journals, which she was reading without any sadness, just reading his journals, she would have never figured out that he had figured out that their parents didn't die by accident and instead were murdered. And what led to it was her identifying a few keywords, which I'm going to run by you right here and see if you can spell.
Oh, God.
First word, we'll start easy. Elevation.
Elevation.
Yes. And he had misspelled it by putting Tien, which is like, not so smart. All right, Keith. Refrigerator.
Refe.
Pardon me?
Refregriator.
I don't even know.
I'm the worst fucking seller of all time.
I'm not going to do the other two, but she had he put a D in refrigerator, which is like, fine, whatever. I was like, oh, there's no.
I was like, well, that sounds right to me.
It also confused me because the way it was written said he put an extra D in it. And I was like, wait, where's the D in refrigerator? And then I was like, oh, wait, there isn't one. But she noticed those two. And she also noticed his misspelling of bourgeoisie.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
What?
That's a French word. Doesn't count.
Yeah. So, I don't know, whatever. So basically this just reiterates the fact that she really has to have a superior attention to detail, right? Yeah. Because she's going through all these journals and then she identifies there's a couple of things missing, which then leads her to a website, blog, poopshoot.com, that her that's a Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back reference for anyone that goes real deep in it. But yeah, so basically I just wanted to call out here that this is what proves to me that she has a real attention to detail. And that's what makes her a super soldier, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, how about the website the guy built too? I don't know how you even get a website if you don't have GoDaddy.com or no sponsors in this pod, but I don't understand how you'd even do that. And then I don't get how you put your face or hand up to it, and why is the computer screen reading your hand? I guess it's the future, but at the same time,
it felt to me like when Neo touches the mirror and the goo snaps back or whatever the case is. He's like, "Whoa, I'm really tripping right now."
There wasn't a lot more futuristic stuff, though. That was the only futuristic.
Yeah, there was no future. I mean, granted, it's not that futuristic. It's like a touchscreen computer that just reads your fingerprint.
True,
like
but there was no other.
Does that? But
yeah.
So it's not like that crazy. But it just seemed a little weird. It's like put your finger here, and then whatever.
Speaking of looking into the future,
I thought you were going to say speaking of putting your finger here. Go on.
Speaking of using futuristic technology, wearing jewelry and accessories stock down.
Okay.
I'm not a big jewelry guy. I don't wear a watch or anything like that. Are you a watch guy or a necklace or anything like that guy?
I'm a watch guy, but for utilitarian purposes. Like.
You use like a digital watch?
No, it's an analog watch. It's a $40 Timex I got off Amazon, but I use it to tell time.
Now, do you put it on your right hand like my dad does as a lefty?
No. I write with my right hand. I just play sports with my left. I have my Whoop, my fitness tracker on my right hand and my watch on my left hand.
So you do have accessories. So that could be a bad thing for you because this book, it's obviously, and I mean obvious, a dead giveaway if someone slightly reaches for their neck and to grab something that's not there, that person that dropped a locket at the crime scene is the person that did it.
She's observant.
Now, could you have took a piece of hair or a fingerprint because they have those things? They have the guy's DNA. and just check that instead of assuming the person's guilty because they reached for their neck at one point that you saw? Maybe, but this is a way more surefire method, kid. You just assume right away, oh, they went and reached for their neck and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Guilty.
But he's so hot.
Well, stock down wearing any sort of accessories because you might be getting caught with something here, kid.
Yeah, it's interesting. Whenever I have a beard, like I can't not touch it, kind of thing, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's like the same thing that he's doing with his necklace, where he always has it. So that's his tell. He's Teddy KGB from Rounders
Oreos
with the Oreos. Yeah. It's like, I found your tell. It's like, what are you guys talking about? It's so obvious. This is what we're talking about. This is tell. But yeah, so I get it. That's his that's his nervous energy. But it just reiterates the fact that she is extremely observant, is able to put two different things together and solve things. You know, that's the point.
Well, why not just use a piece of hair?
You can't. Why don't we just go in there? I got to go in my room. I'll get my gun. We just go in there and shoot him together. No,
we need to broadcast this nationally. We need to.
No, we got to put him behind closed doors and let the sea bass get him. So it brings me to my first stock down, which is what I've been leading to. Stock down, keeping your head in the sand. I get that in these types of societies, we as the reader who are on the outside of it can clearly see the faults of the society. We can see, can't you guys realize it's all built on a house of cards and they're brainwashing you? You know, there's this whole indoctrination program. I understand that. And from the inside, people are either, they're so indoctrinated that they don't see the issues that are right in front of them, or there's so much control over information that people just don't know. You know, similar to the idea of them saying, if you don't pass the test, you go to these labor camps and you work, as opposed to saying that they just get exterminated. I can understand that doesn't leak, that information doesn't leak, so what has led you to assume that they don't just go to labor camps? Well, besides the fact that literally no one has ever returned from said labor camp in their entire life. But I understand that. But June, with her perfect score, she's the only person besides Day, who also just they happen to meet each other naturally and they're both perfect in their own worlds. June is the only person to get this perfect score, which from our understanding, which is super weird that part of the test is like national knowledge. Like, can you say the Pledge of Allegiance? Which you would assume that a street rat might not be super familiar with. That is Aladdin, that is Day. But anywho, a lot of this test is, cognitive understanding, not only your athletic ability and your like physical prowess, but also your cognitive ability. Like, are you able to put a puzzle together in your mind of different facts? And it just blows my mind that she is so naive in all of this. I understand that she wants to be part of this military structure, whatever the case her brother is, and she thinks that this is like her destiny, whatever the case is. She's also proud of her perfect score, and she's on the up and up. I get all that. But she has a thinking brain, and she's naturally curious. That is the character that we were shown. But she seems to ask no questions about what's going on around her. To herself, even. I'm not saying to other people. I understand you can't tell your boss, like, hey, what's the deal with this? But whenever we're in her head, we never hear these questions. And she also just doesn't seem to care or is affected, even though she seems to be a caring person. For example, she sees Thomas shoot an unarmed non-combatant in the face, and then that night goes to a ball with him and is like, Thomas kind of likes me. It's like, this guy just murdered someone in front of your face.
She didn't kiss him. She didn't want to kiss him after that kid. Come on. What are we talking about here?
But she's talking about, this is like our society's good. And, those poor people are fine. They're just not rich like us. But hold on, you can just shoot them in the face. She's also so chill with all of the torture that's happening.
You get disenfranchised, it's slow then fast. I don't think it's ever, all right, that's it. I'm done with it. You know what I mean? If you're religious, you're not just like one day, that one event, that's it. It's over. It's like all these events and all these different things that make you say, I don't want to be part of this anymore. It's not like like I said, it's not like if you're part of any organization, it's never just one thing. It's always this slow buildup, and then eventually you're like, all right, your eyes get open. You're like, all right, fuck this noise.
Yeah, I guess so. But it seems to me, if you're a human being and she seems to care for other people, that watching someone get murdered in front of you with, like, I'm talking like blood and guts,
never like a week
eyes
later,
rolling back in the head, terribleness, or seeing someone get their fingernails pulled out and screaming for their mom.
She rebelled against the government a week later. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy. It's not like it's like 5 years later and decided, you know what?
But how long is she? Good. She was so chill with the torture. It's like she's been there forever. It's like this was the first torture she had ever seen.
It's a military society. You can't be like whining about that. Otherwise, they'll.
Okay, I guess I just don't know why she didn't ask a lot of questions. Also, I mean, maybe this is probably a hate too. It seems so dumb that her bosses, knowing her background and her situation with her, which was, one, she's a genius. Two, her brother figured out that her parents weren't murdered accidentally. So there is a cover-up involved. And this whole thing with Day, with him also having a perfect score, but then somehow escaping the labor camps or escaping death, they put her on the case. Like, they put her on the case of her brother's murder. They put her to go and track Day down, who they know has a perfect score. And it just seems, I know it helps the narrative go along, but it just seems so dumb, like, that they would do that when really they should be trying to isolate her away from all of that.
Well, I think it's in their defense. One, they didn't know Day was Day, who he is, so they don't know even who he is. Two,
that's fair.
She's a rebel, so she's going to investigate it regardless of what they do. So it's much better for them to have her under their thumb rather than her investigating it on her own and probably discovering these things much quicker. Rather than, like, if you're just leading her in the right way, you want to lead her, and she feels like she's part of it. Much easier to manipulate that person there than it is if you give them the whole scope of things.
I think that's fair. I'm okay with that. I'll live with that. Okay. I'll live with that. My last two quick ones were, we talked about the website. Just the IT department in this dystopian autocratic society seems really poorly run. He can just have this website with all of these, it's a blog, and he's like, you can just write anything here. It's totally safe. How are you able to do that? Just because you put her palm in there? Didn't seem to make a ton of sense in terms of the interwebs. Like, it should be more strictly controlled in this kind of society. Also, another struck down to consent. Day, who is our hero, our Aladdin, just like gets drunk and grabs June and kisses her in an alleyway. Seems inappropriate.
Kid, do you know how good looking Day is? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, it seemed not okay,
I mean, that's your biggest issue?
That's not a big issue. Yeah, my biggest
27-year-old doing it? Not that one?
Yeah, I just, it's a little presumptuous.
That one's fine. That one was fine.
He's forcing himself upon her. At least the other guy was asking. Like, come on.
Day was fine. He's at least 15.
Yeah, that's true. What about favorite part, Legend? Favorite part? I feel like we haven't even really talked about what this society is. It's a republic. They're in California. They're fighting against the rebels who are Midwest, like Colorado, maybe, or Texas, right? Do we even get an idea about that?
I feel like with these type of books, I feel like it's always be good to, we've talked about it before, like have a preamble before the book. It's like, the year is 2050, and,
Yeah, give me Terminator 2, or Terminator, whatever one it is.
It'd be good to have that of, like, who are, even if we're not going to see them in this book, who are the Patriots fighting for? Why are they that way? And is Tom Brady their quarterback? And, all those things.
Yeah, I need the Goodfellas voiceover.
Yeah, exactly. For favorite character, I think
you didn't have a part
her.
Or storyline?
And it's going to be a similar one. But just the fighting scene. Yeah. You already knew that. How'd you know that?
I know all sorts of stuff.
Kaday or Katie. I don't know how you say her name.
I think it's Kaide.
Okay. Well, it's spelled Katie, so not really, but that's how I read it. I liked her. She's a scrappy fighter. She'll pull a knife out just to win. That's the type of person I want on my team. And she's a patriot, which for Day's point, he's like fighting this. But what's your goal? I don't really understand. He's like slightly inconveniencing the country, but like it seems like having some sort of message and getting more people on your side is actually a better way to do that than just like destroying property. Like that's all that's going to do is have less money for society, which then less money for everyone else.
Well, he seemed more like a Robin Hood or an Aladdin, if you will, like a mix between the two, where Aladdin was just out there to survive on the streets.
Well, he's betting money on he's got thousands of credits or whatever to bet.
Well, he did, and then he bet them, yeah. But I think he's a mixture of that and Robin Hood, where he's also stealing plague medication and giving it to people, or doing little things around town and then he's taking his vig off of that.
It's all about the vig. Yeah, we know that.
Exactly. He's the biggest criminal, quote unquote, but he doesn't kill anyone. He's just
lives by a code. Gotta respect that.
Yeah, he's Omar from The Wire, except the opposite. So, yeah. I don't even... He doesn't seem like that big of a deal, honestly. It seems like all of the Patriots, or who is ever leading the Patriots, would be a much bigger problem to this society
than
organization. This 15-year-old kid who they don't even know who he is.
For sure. And then also, just as a side character, I already mentioned Thomas being a great character.
Yeah.
What about you?
Favorite part... Maybe when it was over, which we'll get to later. Fucking Christ. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I think when Day infiltrated the hospital to get the drugs and then ended up killing Mateus, or he didn't kill Mateus, but stabbed him, just so we saw a little bit of what he's doing, which is also this book. A lot of the cool feats they do is they just climb buildings or climb things. It's like they're Spider-Men. It's like, wow, he was able to climb really fast. She climbed up that thing.
He did drop from 3 stories and just stop, drop, and roll or something. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I just knew how to land really. He's like, well, I guess there are people that can do that. So
yeah, they're tumblers. Either way. It's like why Robin is Robin in Batman, because he came from a family of circus folk. And he was able to,
carnies,
tumble. Exactly. Nomads, That part was pretty good. And speaking of Mateus, I think he's my favorite character because I think his story is a much better story. And I know this thing's going to continue on, and I know we're not going to read it. But I think Mateus' story of being he's indoctrinated, he's full in on this military thing, but he's also an intelligent person. And the story of him slowly working through the problem of finding out that his parents were murdered and his entire brain shifting over, I think that is a more interesting story than whatever we were given in this book.
What do you mean his brain shifting?
Shifting over from being fully indoctrinated to oh my God, not only did this society that I would die for kill my parents, but it was, the people that I directly report to, the people that I think care about me and who I care about. And so his whole world getting flipped upside down. I think that would have been a more interesting story than this love story that we got. What about loves? What'd you love about Legend?
Yeah, I already mentioned it. This is my reading level. I think I remember. This seems like a very similar conversation to Holes we had, their first ever book. And I was like, this is a great book. And you were like, holy shit, this is terrible. Yeah. But I thought it's not what we wanted, but it's what we needed. It was a quick read. It's formulaic, yes. Is it pretty obvious what's going to happen? Yes. It was entertaining, though. I didn't really... You rolled your eyes, but I didn't really roll my eyes. I didn't want to kill myself at any point. So those are all good things, no?
Yeah. No, those are fine. I mean, I liked the pacing was good. It flew by. It's a short book. It's 8 hours. Mm-hmm. It's definitely, like you said, the book we needed as opposed to the one we wanted. Where it got us out of our literature and long book funk, which is what we've been doing a lot of. And I like literature and I like long book, but I just feel like...
You finished it way before me. You read this quick.
Yeah.
You're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I flew through it, like I said. So that aspect of it I like, and I think dystopian novels usually play to being well-paced. I think that's part of the thing with them, Could we have gotten bogged down in a little bit of what the hell is going on societally here? Yes, please. Would like a little bit more of that. I think she did do a good job. Another thing that I liked was the parallels to our society, which are always part of dystopian novels as well. Mm-hmm. I think she did a really good job of blending those into the story that they didn't hit you in the face. It wasn't, oh, this is just an editorial piece on what's wrong with our own society and the divisiveness we have within it and how government can control so many things that screw the average person over. You know, she hid that very well within it. And I think that was really good. I was listening to the Rewatchables podcast on Sinners. You saw Sinners, the movie? Did you like it?
I'm not a big fan of any movie that's like, here's the bad guy and here's the good guy. I need some sort of plot twist or because it was similar to the Stephen King vampire movie or book we read, and I was like, this book sucks.
Oh, so
I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, I'm like, I already know who the bad guy is. Why do I care about this? You know what I mean? Like, and he's gonna win or he's gonna lose. Like, you know, it's very linear, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah. But I think Coogler did a really good job within there.
It was a good movie. It was fun to watch.
Exactly.
I also went in thinking it was going to be the best movie of all time.
Oh,
so
that's a problem. I just think Coogler did a good job of making a really entertaining movie that's about something, but didn't hit you over the head with it. But then after you watch it, you're like, oh, I get that. Like, that was, you know.
Yeah, someone tried to explain what it's about to me, and I was like, oh, I did not know that. I did not know there's like these other second tier.
I mean, there's clearly racial subtext going on within that movie.
Obviously.
And I think in this book does a good job of having societal subtext without it being so blatant. So I would say that I liked that as well from Marie Lu. So I appreciate you. What else you got for loves?
I like that there's some grit to it. Like, you know,
there's some grit?
One of those. Well, it's one of those YA books, you know, where you're just like, especially how it's written and how it's very like, it seems like kid friendly. We get some execution right in front of your face, you know. I was like, hey, give me, I don't hate that, you know. Anytime a main person dies, especially in that style, you know, usually it's like, come out in 3 seconds or we're gonna shoot them, and then they're like, no, all right, I'll give myself up, I'll sacrifice myself, and then everyone survives. The brother gets killed early on. I thought that was a trick. I was like, there's no way this person's actually dead.
Mateus?
The mom gets executed.
Yeah.
Day's brother gets killed,
John.
sacrificing himself. So again, I was like, all right, there is some grit to it for a book that seems like it would be gritless.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. I appreciate it. I know what you're saying. I feel like Hunger Games did that though, and I feel like Hunger Games doesn't have a lot of grit.
I mean, Hunger Games, who dies that's of any significance? Like, every single main character lives. There's no one that really. Yeah. There's no bad even the deaths of like some of the other district people that are quote unquote good district people, like their deaths were like merciful or like, oh, they did it saving someone, you know. They were never like, this person just got shot in the head, they're dead, see you later.
Have you seen Invincible, the animated show on Prime?
No, the Philadelphia Eagles, Marky Wahlberg movie?
No, phenomenal. Vince Papali. No, my brother introduced me to it, and you know, I'm open to anything. And he was like, dude, look at the episode ratings, and they were pretty wild. It's got a really good cast. But I was like, I'll give it a try. Within the first like 3 episodes, like half the main characters are dead. I was like, holy
is
crap.
It the animated series where the superhero... I just saw one clip of that where a guy's like punching a fist through a guy's head, and I was like, wait, what is this?
Yeah, not a kid's show. Like, it is a cartoon,
thought it was a dream or
but
something.
It is not,
that's real?
Yeah, it is real. And that happens in like every single episode.
Love that.
But yeah, massive cast. Like, every time, like, wait, who is that voice for a random person? It's a super big celebrity. It's like, oh, shit. So I was just thinking about that because, you know, you said they killed the main characters, and I was watching that show and they kill all the main characters. What about hates?
I mean, we've already kind of got over this. It's a little too YA. The 2 main characters are not only the smartest in the country, they're also rebellious, and they're also superly morally good and the most attractive people in the world. Like, can we give one negative about these people? They're too good looking. You know what I mean? And it's also just way too predictable. But the only thing I didn't think was the brother might not be dead. That was a trick, but you know, once I realized you could kill people in the book, I was like, okay, so that's good at least. But other than
Mateus, you mean you thought Mateus dying was a trick?
Mateus, yeah. I was like, all right, there's no way he's actually dead because this book is supposed to be, you know, YA. But other than that, I mean, it was just too on the nose. I mean, we also came from Red Rising where you're just like, be like, oh, this is what I think it's going to be, and then it's never that. So yeah, it's a little different.
Red Rising just isn't YA, you know, at no point. No. It's like young old people or something. I don't know. It's just a vibe. This book is not a vibe. You know, they were already in my stock up, stock downs, but overall, I didn't love the world building. It didn't. I understand the idea of, okay, we don't need to explain to you how this entire world is, and we'll get to it. And there's also some things that you can figure out on your own from little clues that we're giving you here and there. That's fine, but I'd like to know why we're here. Why do I care? And who am I rooting for and why? I'm not rooting for Day because he's this smug little cocksure street rat, because his dad found a quarter and there's coins. Do you know how many freaking coins there are in the United States? You're telling me that this one quarter could put the downfall of the entire society because no one knows that the United States used to exist? You're telling me no kid is digging in the sand and finds an old penny? Get the fuck out of here. That's ridiculous. His dad's got a quarter and shoves it in his necklace, and it's this oh wow, it's an ancient artifact. The book's it's not like it's set after a new layer of sediment has been formed on the soil. This isn't...
I don't know. What year is it? I don't know. Could be.
They have touchscreen computers, Keith. You think it's set 1,000 years in the future? I don't think so.
I went to Rome, and they were like, yeah, all the buildings, they're down there. I'm like, what? So I didn't understand how that happened still, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, exactly. Layers of sediment pile on top of each other. Someone could just be walking down the street and find a dollar bill. It's not even the cotton in the dollar bill has been put into the ether yet. So someone could just find a dollar bill and be like, oh, wow, the United States of America. Yeah, I didn't love the world building. I thought there were things that happened throughout the book that were just not realistic, between, June not being able to kind of figure out what's going on with her own society, to how her and Day were able to get together, and there wasn't she has these voice mics that she's got on, she's got off. I don't even fucking know. It was so stupid. My biggest hate
go on,
was that this was a short book, and I was like, oh, this will be fun, short dystopian book. And then as I'm halfway through, I'm like, did fucking Keith give me another series book?
I didn't know it was series,
I know. I'm not. I still love you. It has nothing to do with you, but I was upset for sure, because I was like, okay, so I'm not going to know anything about what happens in this story.
This had a kind of ending, though.
And this story was so terrible that I'm definitely not going to read the next 3 books. Are you kidding me? My God, we're all going to die one day, and I don't want to die having read the entire Legend series. So, yeah, it was unfortunate that now I don't even know how this quarter becomes a big deal in this society. So, yeah, I was upset I didn't get any closure here. Otherwise, it was good.
Glad.
Yeah.
That's the clip. We got it.
How many buddies do you give it, and would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think this... I wouldn't recommend it.
Who's it for?
Obviously, to you. I gave it a 3. I don't
what?
think it was... I think also it's partially helped out by the fact that we just read much worse book. So
how dare you? My Friends was a much better book than this was.
No, I would recommend this to a 6th grader, that's getting into
one that you're courting. You would you're pulling Thomas.
I wouldn't tell them. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't. I'd tell someone that's their age.
Look at this relationship between these two characters. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. Would you give it?
I would give it a 1.5.
Okay, that's fair. I had to bulk it up, bring the average up. I think the average is right, 2.25. That's right. But I needed to bring it up.
Yeah, it's
I knew you were going to go down.
1.5 out of 5. It should never have been made. It says nothing. It does nothing. It was a fast read, which gets it the 1.5, and it's a trope. The whole book is a trope. It's a ChatGPT book. If you put in the other 3 series, which I don't even think those are any good, really. Hunger Games was pretty good. I'm okay with that. It started to get a little wild there in the middle and the end. But if you put them all in a computer and said, hey, write me a dystopian novel with 2 teenagers, this is what it would spit out. So for that reason, I'm out. So yeah, 1.5. I'd recommend it. I'm sure. I mean, I know people do like it, so I know I'm not. If you like it, good for you. I have no problem. I'm not going to say you're an idiot. I'll tell you you're an idiot, but not other people. But yeah, if there's a kid that's, like you said, like 12 years old and thinks this is a great entryway to dystopian novels, then sure, great. But if you think this is better than like Brave New World or something like that, you're fucking crazy. Or The Giver.
Brave New World sucked. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I knew you'd say that.
Did you like Brave New World?
I like it better than this.
The only thing that was good about that was the Doma drug or whatever it was called.
Yeah, give me some of that. I need some of that after reading this. Oh, that's too bad. All right, well, that was Legend. This podcast will be Legend in that we'll never revisit it. What do we have coming up next?
Next, we are back to finish out the summer. We had to go back to the summer reads. We're doing Mitch Rapp, Vince Flynn, Executive Power. So back to the bread and butter.
God, have you started reading it yet?
Yeah, I'm already like 4 hours in, and I'm like, that feels like 10 minutes. So it's
the
easy.
First 10 minutes is like Mitch Rapp gets out of the pool and he is glistening. His bronze skin is bubbling over.
I already wrote a note that was, did it move? What was our old category? I also want to know who moved more for, because they described a woman and I'm like, who gives a shit? Give me the Mitch Rapp. Tell me what's Mitch Rapp's doing. Tell me about his
scars. Oh my god, he's so hot. Yeah. All right, yeah, we'll save it for the next one. I went right from it. It was like I finished this book and then I was like, hey, what are we reading next? Can we read a Vinnie Flynn book? Jumped into Mitch Rapp and I started reading it that night in bed and I was like, God, yes, this is exactly what I needed. And then changed the sheets, and I was in bed the next 30 minutes.
Did not need the blue pill that night. It was 4 hours worth. You're good. Might need to call a doctor after that, though.
All right. Yeah, so Executive Powers, Vinnie Flynn, Mitch Rapp. We'll have that to you probably like next week sometime. But yeah, this was Legend. I am Legend. I'm probably dead after this. Keith, good talking to you. We'll catch you in the next one.
Indeed.
All right. Bye now.